Good morning, dear students. I welcome you for the biology class. In the previous video, we have studied about deforestation, causes of deforestation, consequences of deforestation, global warming, desertification, and questions related to that. And those questions are there in your text. So write down the questions with the answer. Today, in this video, we'll be studying about conservation of forest, wildlife, causes for depletion of wildlife, and questions related to that. And these questions are there in your text. So please write down only questions and answer, which I'll be posting in this particular slide. So watch the video carefully, understand the instructions. So there is a lot of confusion. So what to write, what not to write. So you can write down only question and answers, and you can watch the video at any time, right? So we'll go with the conservation of forest. As the forests are helpful for to maintain an ecological equilibrium in the environment, and therefore there is an immediate need to conserve it. As we know, the forest plays an important role. So there are different ways of conserving forest. There are reforestation, preventing forest fires, grazing in forests is to be controlled. Coming to reforestation, it means the process of restoring and recreating the areas of forest. It includes growing more and more plants. And the second one is preventing forest fires. To make sure the fires are not carelessly ignited, we should take some special precautions. This might threaten people and kill wildlife and also destroys forest. Thus, we can say that prevention of forest fires is very necessary. Next, grazing in forest is to be controlled. We should keep an eye on grazing in forest as grazing control actually prevents the soil erosion, which is again essential as we know the top layer is very much first fertile as well as it's an habitat for many organisms. So plants grow on the topsoil and the nutrients is available from that. And it's also an habitat for many living organisms. So we have to control and off about grazing. Next, we'll study about wildlife. So, wildlife represents all non domesticated animals living in their natural habitats, like lion, elephants, etc., are found in forest. Increase in population also leads to increase in the demand for using land for various purposes, including houses, like housing. Due to this, the habitats of many organisms has been destroyed, and thus we can say our wildlife is under threat. So, causes of depletion of wildlife. So, these are the six causes. First one is habitat loss, climate change, pesticides and toxic chemicals, hunting and poaching, natural phenomenon, pollution. So, we'll study one by one. First, habitat loss. Habitat is a place where living and non living organisms live. Sometimes the cause of depletion of wildlife is the loss of their habitat. That is a place where they live and they develop. For example, elephant lives in forest, and if the forest is destroyed, the habitat of elephant gets destroyed, and also the number of elephants decreases. Climate change. Climate change, like sudden change in the environment, can actually cause disastrous loss of wildlife. Thereby, habitat of different kinds of plants and animals get destroyed. We need optimum temperature for survival. For example, a slight drop or rise in the average rainfall will lead to seasonal changes, which can harm the hibernating animals or the mammals. Coming to the third one, pesticides and toxic chemicals. The use of pesticides or other chemicals can harm the wildlife as they are toxic in nature. For example, petroleum, byproducts, antifreeze, etc. Hunting and poaching. Unregulated hunting and poaching can harm wildlife. Due to this, the number of wildlife organisms, the animals will decrease. Coming to the fifth one, natural phenomena like floods, earthquake, volcanoes can also harm wildlife. The sixth one is pollution. Pollution decree released in environment, they are ingested by a variety of organisms. So there are many pollutants, gases. So, like pollution can be fatal to us, like most of the sulfur content, lead content. So, many contents are released to the environment, and the environment has been affected where air, water, soil. So, all the natural things has been resources has been polluted by the industries. So, we can say that pollution can also harmful for wild animals. So, these are the related questions according to this concept. So, what will happen if you go on cutting trees? The habitat of an animal is disturbed. And what happens when the top layer of the soil is exposed? So, this is the question number 4. It's in your text, according to your text. So, we'll discuss the answer now. First, we'll go with the first one. So, what happens when we go on cutting trees? The temperature will increase to a greater extent. The chances of natural disaster to occur will also increases. Water cycle gets disturbed. No? There's a disturb in the water cycle process. The second one, the habitat of an animal is disturbed. So, what happens if an habitat of an animal is disturbed? The animal will lose their natural habitat and will reach the level of being endangered. So, most of the animals may be forced to invade places meant for human living in search of food and shelter. So, what happens if the top layer of the soil is exposed? So, the exposed layer will lose all their nutrients, especially the humus. The water holding capacity of the soil will decrease, so it results in desertification. Coming to the question number 6. In order to meet the ever increasing demand in factories and for shelter, trees are being continuously cut. Is it justified to cut trees for such projects? Discuss and prepare a brief report. So, this is question number 6 in your text. So, we'll discuss the answer now. So, it's not justified to cut trees just to fulfill our needs. So, trees are known as the lungs of the earth. They are the habitat of many living organisms, including animals. So they give us oxygen and they maintain oxygen carbon dioxide cycle. They firmly bind the soil and hence they prevent soil erosion. They also reduce the chances of natural disasters. They help to conserve our rich biodiversity. The cutting of trees will increase the carbon dioxide and that will result in global warming. So we have discussed already and hence trees must be protected. Thank you, dear students. A small concept has been discussed, and the question related to that concept has been discussed in this particular video. So, kindly note down the question with the answer. So, we'll go with the wildlife centuries or the biodiversity species in the next video. Until then, thank you. Have a nice day.